everyone, this is Spliced, and today I will be once again comparing the Banshee Ultra and Temple Banshee. I've already stated in two previous videos I made, which was the Banshee Ultra versus Temple Banshee and my top 10 vehicles of Warzone, that I do prefer the Temple Banshee over the Banshee Ultra, but a lot of people were confused and assumed that I thought that the Temple Banshee was far superior to the Banshee Ultra, which is just not the case. They're pretty much equal, but to me, with my playstyle, the changes are so minuscule that I just prefer the Temple Banshee over the Banshee Ultra, but that does not mean at all that the Banshee Ultra is bad. It does not mean that I do not like the vehicle. In fact, they are so close that if I were to give them both a score out of 10, I would give the Temple Banshee a 10 out of 10, and the Banshee Ultra would be like a 9.8 out of 10. They're very, very close, and the differences are very, very minor, but I want to make sure that you guys fully understand, since a lot of people seem to be confused at the time, and a lot of people don't really understand. So I'm going to try my best to explain the small differences and why they mean such a big difference to me. So with that being said, let's get into the first point. An important thing to know about the Banshee Ultra is that its natural travel time for the Banshee Bomb is much quicker than the regular Banshee and Temple Banshee. And also, if you add a backflip on top of it, it adds a lot of velocity to the Banshee Bomb as well. But there is something to know about the Temple Banshee in comparison to the Banshee Ultra, and that is, it has a ability to shoot the Banshee Bomb while boosting. So combining all of this together with the Temple Banshee, you can actually get a slightly faster shot to take down your enemy with the Temple Banshee compared to the Banshee Ultra. The Temple Banshee's shot goes just a little bit faster than the Banshee Ultra, and it's very, very minute and not really much to talk about, but it is there and it is noticeable. However, the more important thing to know is that the Banshee Ultra shot is actually much more visible than the Temple Banshee shot when it's coming towards you. The Temple Banshee shot is near invisible when it's coming towards you, therefore you can launch a really good surprise attack on the enemy without them knowing that it's coming towards you, and they won't be able to prepare to get away. The damaging part of the Banshee Ultra is where I would say it thrives the most in, being able to take down one of the most formidable targets on the ground, such as the Scorpions and Wraiths. The Banshee Ultra's Banshee Bomb plus burst effect afterwards can completely decimate the most formidable of enemies, and that's why I say that when it comes to damage, the Banshee Ultra definitely thrives in comparison to the Temple Banshee. However, the damage isn't really that much different, with the Temple Banshee being able to shoot a Banshee Bomb just as fast as the Banshee Ultra. It can pull out just as much DPS, just only a little bit under, however, because of the fact that the Banshee Ultra has a burst effect as well. I can easily admit though, and I will say it over and over again, that the Banshee Ultra definitely beats the Temple Banshee when it comes to overall DPS. It can do the most damage in compared to the Temple Banshee, but that doesn't really necessarily mean that it's better overall. Damage isn't everything in this game, especially when it comes to vehicles, as you may know that the Scorpions have the highest DPS in the game, but they're very easily able to be taken out, and that's why they don't really have much to shine with. And the same goes with the Banshee Ultra and the Temple Banshee. If you don't have the mobility to keep yourself alive, then you're not really going to be able to stay alive enough to do the damage that is required. The other thing to mention about the Banshee Ultra is its tracking capability in comparison to the Temple Banshee. It does have a immensely better tracking capability, but when you're doing a backflip shot at a high velocity, you don't really need to worry about the tracking being a problem, since it'll most likely hit your target anyways. And finally, we come to the most important question about these two vehicles: aerial combat, and which one would win in a 1 versus 1. The Banshee Ultra versus the Temple Banshee, let's just assume that both pilots have the same amount of skill level. If both of them were to go head to head, which one would win? In my opinion, again, I think that the Temple Banshee would outclass the Banshee Ultra by a good amount, and the reason is because of its mobility. The Temple Banshee thrives on its mobility, and my playstyle is based around mobility and survivability. The Banshee Ultra has good mobility, but the Temple Banshee has perfect mobility, and there is very, very small differences in their mobility difference that it's really hard to show you guys how different it is and to get you to understand it. It's very small and it's very minute. But for me, I can totally see the difference, and it makes a huge impact on how I fly the vehicle. There are two different playstyles I have with these two different vehicles. For the Banshee Ultra, I try to keep a good mid-level distance from the enemies that I'm trying to take out while using the Banshee Ultra. And for the Temple Banshee, I need to get right up at the enemy and make sure that there's no way that for them to get a chance to shoot at me. That way I can continue to keep hitting them and they have no chance whatsoever to take me down. The Temple Banshee has by far the best mobility in the game, and because of that, in aerial combat you can outmaneuver your enemy regardless if they're in a Banshee Ultra or any other air vehicle. You can fly circles around the enemy. It's actually pretty crazy. If you know what you're doing and the enemy knows what you're doing, it doesn't matter because you can still get around them, because the Temple Banshee has just that little bit of edge of its mobility compared to the Banshee Ultra. So that is it for my comparison of these two vehicles once again, and this is hopefully clearing up some confusion as to why I said what I said about the Temple Banshee compared to the Banshee Ultra. I hope you guys understand, hope you guys did enjoy, and I will see you guys in the next video.